It is 11 p.m. You are standing in the glow of an open refrigerator, looking at a can of soda, leftover pizza, and maybe some fruit flown in from the other side of the planet. You are not physically hungry, yet you are scanning those shelves for something sweet, salty, or dripping in fat, feeling almost powerless against the urge to grab a handful of processed junk food. To understand this, look at this timeline of human evolution. Your brain runs software written 3 million years ago, designed for an environment where starvation was the norm. For almost that entire history, a modern pantry didn't exist. To your ancestors, nothing here's food. We are living out a severe evolutionary mismatch. The exact same biological urges that successfully kept our species alive on a harsh savanna are now the very things destroying our health.
Matter of fact, 3 million years ago, our ancestors lived as scavengers, waiting their turn at the bottom of the food chain. When a predator like a lion killed an antelope, it ate the prime cuts first, the muscle, the liver, the heart. Then the hyenas came in to crunch through the skin, ribs, and smaller bones. By the time humans crept up to the carcass, all that remained were scraps. Specifically, thick leg bones and skulls that even hyena jaws could not break open. But we had the one thing no other scavenger had: hands that could grip a rock hard enough to smash those bones open. Using crude stone flakes called Oldowan tools, early humans cracked into a hidden calorie jackpot. Inside those thick bones was marrow, gray, slick, dripping fat. They cracked open the skulls, too, finding almost a pound of solid fat inside. For an ancestor surviving on scraps, a cracked skull was a feast. Your modern body still treats dietary fat as an absolute treasure because for millions of years, scooping raw marrow out of a bone was the only way to stay alive. About 1 million years ago, deep inside caves like Wonderwork in South Africa, humans harnessed fire. And with fire, we started cooking. Cooking is essentially pre-digestion. Instead of forcing your gut to do hours of intense chemical work to break down raw meat and tough roots, the heat of a fire partially breaks the food apart before you even take a bite. Watch this inverse relationship on the diagram. Because our bodies spent less energy digesting cooked food, our gut shrank, and those massive caloric savings were redirected entirely to one place: the human brain. You cannot run a complex brain on raw leaves. Cooking gave us our modern minds, and in return, it wired us to relentlessly crave high-calorie foods that deliver maximum calories with zero physical effort. That same wiring explains your sugar cravings. For hundreds of thousands of years, the absolute richest meal a human could find was wild honey. It offered instant energy to use right away and extra fuel your body stored as fat for the winter. Modern food corporations hijacked that ancient survival signal by disguising sugar in almost every packaged item on these shelves, from bread to pasta sauce. They turned our biological desperation into a business model. And we crave stranger things too. When early hunters killed a large animal, they could not eat it all at once, so they buried it in cold streams or caves for weeks. By the time they returned, the meat was crawling with maggots and reeking of decay. They ate it anyway. Bacteria had already broken down the rotting meat, making it easier to chew and packed with newly produced B vitamins. Every fermented food you love today, cheese, yogurt, sourdough, is simply rot slowed down and made safe. In places like Gough's Cave in England, researchers uncovered the darkest extreme of calorie harvesting. Roughly 14,000 years ago, humans were meticulously cracking open the long bones and skulls of other humans to extract the marrow inside. The calories don't point to starvation. While a human body provides about 125,000 calories, a single mammoth yields 3 million. Processing these human bones was a choice, a deliberate ritual. Eating what is rich and rare, whether it is an aged cheese, a sugary drink, or prime marrow, is an ancient program demanding you pack in calories while you still can, because tomorrow there might be nothing. If you took a modern human and dropped them into the world of 50,000 years ago, they would die in days. You would not know how to find water, half the plants would be a mystery, and you would lack the strength to run down an animal or crack open a thigh bone. You would starve while staring at a landscape full of food you could not see. But if you dropped that 50,000-year-old human directly into your kitchen, they would think they had walked into a god's pantry. They would see sweet drinks sealed in metal, milk sitting fresh for weeks, and dense bread someone else baked. It would look like the richest place anyone had ever walked into, entirely free of the physical cost of hunting or gathering. For 3 million years, every human who ever lived was hungry, cold, and tired. When you open your fridge late at night, you are simply a survivor built for scarcity, trying to navigate an entirely alien world of absolute abundance.